A gold, silver, crystal remake. The possibilities got people talking for years, but now might be the time. Yep, there's going to be a new game announced soon, and it's not a matter of months, it's not a matter of weeks, it's a matter of days. We are a few short days away from a new game being announced. Now, to be honest, that new game could be anything. The only possibility we can rule out at this point is Mystery Dungeon 3, because Explorers of the Sky is much too recent. Now, it could be a 5th generation, because that's the kind of thing that you announce several years in advance, not necessarily a Mystery Dungeon game. It could be Ranger 3, it could be Troze 2, it could be Pinball 3, it could be anything. But the most popular theory is, of course, the Gold, Silver, Crystal remake, because people have been clamoring for that one for years. And naturally, this being a Gold, Silver, Crystal Let's Play, the possibility of a remake was a topic that I wanted to talk about, though a bit later on. But with that news coming out, I wanted to grab the opportunity to talk about it as early as possible, instead of, waiting until I got the early game things out of the way when it comes to this playthrough here. But anyway, there are a few things that hint at it being a Gold, Silver, Crystal remake. First and foremost, there are going to be action figures or something like that of Totodile, Cyndaquil, and Chikorita coming out this fall. So, yeah, it's really got people talking about the possibility of a Gold, Silver, Crystal remake. And there are other things, though I don't really understand the specifics, but yeah, the rumor mill is in full swing, and people are definitely hoping for that remake. Now, personally, my opinion on this is that, well, they got a lot of work to do if they want to fix what was wrong with Gold, Silver, Crystal itself, as I am now taking on the first trainer in the game. It shouldn't be too eventful because it's still just a level 4 Rattata. I've met these in the wild plenty of times up till this point. But anyway, there wasn't much to fix when it came to Fire Red and Leaf Green, because what Red, Blue, and Yellow set out to do, it did it just about perfectly. Whereas Gold, Silver, Crystal has a few glaring flaws that Red, Blue, and Yellow didn't have. First and foremost, the overworld design. I've talked about it a lot before. The overworld design in this game sucks balls. Especially Kanto. They completely butchered Kanto. So my hopes for a Gold Silver remake, well, are for Kanto to be completely revamped. More trainers, more things to do, maybe even bring back the Safari Zone, since it was completely replaced by that bug catching contest at the National Park. But back to the game for a little bit. I've just registered my first trainer phone number. Now, as I said, it's really useful if you want to do rematches. In fact, it's mandatory if you want to do rematches. But a lot of the time, they're going to call you for some random chatter, which you're just going to be asking, when does that guy shut up? And you scroll through text, and you scroll through text, and you hope that he's going to ask you for a rematch, but most of the time, they don't. And in Crystal, as I've already mentioned, it's brand new to Crystal, it wasn't there in Gold and Silver. Some trainers will call you up and give you evolutionary stones, which is really neat, because the only stone you can get in infinite quantity in Gold and Silver was the Sunstone. And while I'm facing a Pidgey, just a friendly reminder that those Pidgeys here don't have Gust anymore in the very early game, because now Gust is flying, and having them start with Gust would mean that Chikorita would be at a huge disadvantage right off the bat. Now, Chikorita is already at a disadvantage compared to the other two, but that would just be the last straw, being obliterated by level 2 wild Pokemon right at the beginning of the game, before you have a chance to catch something else to take care of these Pidgeys. So that's why they gave it Tackle early on, and put Gust off until like level 9, I don't really remember. It's been a while since I used a Pidgey, and I don't intend on using one ever again, because it sucks. Pokeballs are to be thrown only at wild Pokemon? Yeah, I got an idea, but try telling that to those Cypher fellows in the future. There are very little wild Pokemon in Coliseum and XD anyway, so stealing other trainers' Pokemon is the only way to build your team. That sucks, but that's the way it is, and that's why Coliseum and XD, that was one of the reasons why I thought they weren't very good. You were really restricted in what you can catch. But back to those remakes, they really ought to fix that overworld a bit. In Johto, it's harder because it's like the main region, and you can't go around redesigning the routes, but maybe add a few more things to make it less bland. So granted, Johto isn't as bad as Gold, Silver, Crystal, Kanto, but it could still use some improvement. And of course, another thing that everyone hates about this game, it's the ridiculous level curve. I mean, the strongest Pokemon you face in the league is a level 50 Dragonite. Level 50. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, it was level 65. In Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, level 58. In Diamond, Pearl, level 66. Platinum, level 62. Here, 50. Wow. So if there is gonna be a remake, they better go the extra mile and correct those mistakes. As I said before in Fire Red and Leaf Green, they could afford to make sort of a carbon copy of Red and Blue because there wasn't as much to fix up. But here, there are a lot of things that I'd like to change and that I think most everybody would like to change, and not just have it be just Gold, Silver, Crystal à la sauce du jour, so to speak. So let's cross our fingers that it is a remake, and if it's not, well, at least hopefully it's going to be something enjoyable. That's all I gotta say about that. No, actually, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about, and before this news came out, that is what I intended on talking about, and it's the possibility of a Gold, Silver, Crystal remake versus the references to Gold, Silver, Crystal that there are in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Because that was the prime argument for a remake occurring in this generation. There are so many references to Gold, Silver, Crystal, such as Jasmine appearing, and the secret potion, I think it was called, that I think it was Cynthia who gave that to you to cure the Psyducks on Route 210. So yeah, that was the argument, but I personally thought that, if anything, those references were more of a way to indicate that there was not going to be a remake, and that those references were just thrown as a bone to fans because they didn't plan for a remake. So that's, oh, they got Tail Whip now! I'm not sure, but I think they still haven't got anything to hurt me, so they're just once again glorified experience pots. Oh, and that guy that I just beat earlier on, he's already calling me. I'm not even out of Route 30 yet, and he's already calling me. I doubt it's for a rematch, though. They wouldn't pit me against like a level 9 Rattata so early in the game before I've done Bellsprout Tower, before I've done the first gym. I really doubt it's going to be a rematch, and it definitely doesn't look like it from the way he's talking, and talking, and talking, and talking. But, well, I suppose that's gonna be it for now, and next time I'm going to attempt to catch a Bellsprout on Route 31 as an early game HM slave for cut and flash purposes. So, yeah, see you in part 7.